Men do what works, and then we go away from what doesn't work. So if you're hearing a man say the same thing as another man, that means we figured it out. And we didn't create these concepts. We're responding to how the women are responding.
MJ said, what is with putting prices and value crap about dating you're talking about? This feels like that Tate guy's crap about dollar values. The whole mindset is cringe. Yeah, I mean, I would feel the same way if I was spending your money too.
Do you know what it is, MJ? It's called reality. And since the beginning of time, women have looked to men to provide them resources. So when the men court the woman, it is customary for her to expect him to give his hard-earned money, because, you know, restaurants, dinners cost money, and most women are not willing to pay for the date. Hell, women are talking about, I ain't doing no 50-50. That didn't come from Tate. That came from women.
Yup.
See, the thing is, you have to understand that men do what works, and then we go away from what doesn't work. So if you're hearing a man say the same thing as another man, that means we figured it out. And we didn't create these concepts. We're responding to how the women are responding. So we're figuring out who the women respond to and under what circumstances, and then we come back and then we reveal our findings.
If you want to be angry,
you want to try to link the truth to Tate, and because Tate is a piece of shit, then you could throw out all the truth that has been said.
Hashtag girl math.
So understand something. On TSP, we don't support Andrew Tate because he's a piece of shit. But it doesn't change the fact that many of the things he said are true. Do you know how we know they're true? Because we observe them in reality every single day. And it is not men who are creating the dating market unless, you know, they're out here simping. But it is the women that are telling them, you have to take me to Aria. That wasn't Andrew Tate that said that. That was Cheesecake Factory Lady that said that. And she says, well, that's what you're supposed to do. You don't think that you don't think that Cheesecake Factory costs money? You don't think that Aria costs money? You don't think money has value? Come on, let's be for real.
So before we react to this one, Stephanie, I want to make sure what you're referring to, because this could be a very similar situation to what we had in Discord the other night, where we were talking about dating, and somebody, a woman, I forget exactly who it was, could not fathom that all of us men have the same kind of experience because you are not like that. That's why you're married. Because your husband was like, oh, cool, she's not one of them.
Yep. So how many times have you looked at It's Complicated and then they approach multiple women on the street and ask them, how many, MJ, what percentage of men?
Which phrase?
No, he didn't bring the phrase to social media. He just repeated it.
Which phrase?
You think Tate created the recognition of female nature? No.
No.
Right. He's not that smart.
Yeah.
He's not that smart. He just took the truth, mixed it with his poor character, and then poisoned the truth. The truth was always out there. So again, I really hate these all or nothing arguments. And this is one of the things that women have to understand about these conversations and why the lines of communication are so fractured. Women, on the balance of probabilities, more often than not, when women enter these conversations, they are talking about what could happen, what the possibilities are. When we men do our cost-benefit analysis, we are doing it with a mind towards what is more likely to happen. So we try to cover all of our bases to the lowest common denominator. So it is never an all-woman thing, but there is enough women hijacking your social credit with men that is causing men to change up their dealings. Now here on TSP, not here on the Indian Jesus, but over on TSP, there's a reason why we have Mrs. Evil giving her opinions on these types of subjects. Because we want men to know that not all women are like this. But guess what's going on in the internet? So good women are staying shut. Oh, they're not just staying shut, but they're supporting the bad behavior of other women that they would not engage in themselves because they have to conform to the sisterhood. So there are a lot of good women out there that are staying silent when women get involved in bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And the other women that disagree, they just kind of stay silent. So nobody knows they exist. So the only thing that you are left with is constant examples of women showing their lack of respect and value for men in society in a bunch of different ways. Those are all the people getting attention because those are the only women talking. Now, I've actually asked several women to come on my podcast. And I asked them to give their opinions so that men can see that that not all women are the same. And he said, well, I don't want to get attacked by other women. I don't want to put myself in that situation. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want my friends to think that I've got internalized misogyny because I took actual accountability for what's going on in society and the role that women play in the fracture. Because we still give the responsibility to men.
MJ. So you're talking about from a woman's point of view, it isn't cool to feel like there's this. We're not talking about in general a woman's point of view. We are talking about this specific situation. And in this specific situation, do you think it is okay how this woman acted? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then nothing you're saying is relevant because we're not talking about the women who don't act this way. We are talking about the women who do act this way. We are talking about from the men's perspective. You are allowed to have your perspective.
Right.
Nobody's saying that you're...
And I want to break this down. I want to break this down very, very clearly. You see how MJ changed the argument? MJ changed the argument. Nobody says, number one, we're not talking about feelings. We're talking about actual interactions in reality. So bring back
Stephanie, real quick. Stephanie, this is exactly what I'm saying. Back up. Because you don't know any women like this. The assumption is that women aren't like this. How many women do you know? How many women do you really know?
Together, right? Like-minded women travel together, right?
Legitimately. How many women do you know that you know well enough how they act in relationships? Do you think it's more women or less women than the average man knows how the average woman acts in a relationship like that?
Can you bring back MJ's other comment? Because that was not that one, the one before that. This is important. It isn't cool to feel like, well, your feelings are your responsibility. I'm giving you the situation on the ground as it is. See, it isn't cool to feel like there's an obligation because the guy pays for something. Well, you know what isn't cool? When the man feels like there's an obligation that he has to pay for something.
This is what I'm telling you,
that's why when I go out with women, I pay for mine and she pays for hers and I take sex off the table. You know why? Because when I take sex off the table, now we have to deal as equals. Now I get to find out, do you actually want to get to know me or are you just here for a free meal? Because as a guy, from a guy's point of view, it's not cool to feel obligated to come out of my pocket for a grown woman with a job or with two working hands that could feed herself.
MJ, do you want to come up? Do you want to come up? Because this is going so far left.
And again, hold on. They both said the same thing.
Hold on. Yeah. So again, you're saying the exact same thing that Stephanie is saying. When all men are saying most, not all, most women are like this.
Right.
How many women have you dated?
I don't believe it's most women, though.
I do.
I think that there's actually at least a slight majority of women
more than
who are
50%?
Not like this. At least there's at least 51% of women that are not like this.
Maybe for you. And where are we at? And then using TikToks. Excuse me, ma'am. This is not a TikTok. These are real human beings.
And it's really crazy. If a woman said that she was essayed on TikTok, they wouldn't say that was fake.
Even if it was fake, the situation is we addressed that, but before you got
is relatable to all men across the board.
It's an allegory to things that really happens. That's why it went viral, because people understand that this really does happen, whether that actual thing was fake or not. And again, unless these two need a deal in Hollywood to be in the next Marvel film, then they are keeping the act up amazingly.
Before you go forward, right? Because I really want to drive this point home, because this is where men, and I just had this discussion with one of my female clients who is dating a very wealthy man. Okay? I want to make this very, very clear. So Lutch, How tall are you?
5'4", short king in the building.
Okay.
Let's go.
How much do you weigh? How much do you weigh, Lutch?
Probably somewhere between 110 and 115 pounds.
I'm 6'3", 195 pounds of muscle. Like, I'm top 1% in the world in what, actually I'm top 2% in the world in height as a man who's 6'3", right? So you're you're actually below average on height and weight for a man, right? Mm-hmm. I'm above average in physical build and height, well above average. I'm top 2% in the world.
So it stands to reason that we might have,
but we're saying the same fucking thing.
Yet somehow you're living with 2 women, and I'm living with none.
Right.
Yet we're still saying the same experience. But no. You two who are married to men know better than us. My apologies. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.